You're really going to want to be at the property every single day to supervise, because I promise you things will not go as planned, and I promise you things will come up, and I promise you they will do something wrong. Step number 10, and this is also some of the fun part, is renovate it. Now, if you bought a property that doesn't need any renovations, just go and skip this part. But usually when I start a project, I start it as soon as possible. It's like the day I close escrow, so I avoid having any downtime on the property so I can get it rented out sooner. But like I mentioned earlier, most of my contractors I found through word of mouth or on Yelp, and they have been fantastic. Now, the one thing when it comes to renovating a property is that you always need to be on site, preferably every single day. I don't care if it's a minor renovation, if you're doing a bathroom, a kitchen, doing the whole place. I don't care if you're spending $5,000 or $50 million. It doesn't matter. You're really going to want to be at the property every single day to supervise, because I promise you things will not go as planned, and I promise you things will come up, and I promise you they will do something wrong. And if you weren't there, you wouldn't notice these things. One of the advantages too of being on the site every single day, at least in the morning or showing up at like random times, is that you get to make sure the project is going to stay on time. A lot of times I've shown up to projects at like 2 in the afternoon and no one's there. Or there's like one person working when there should have been like 5 or 6, and then you have to call the contractor and be like, where is everybody? Why aren't they here? And they move them around job sites. So the contractor will overbook and then move them to whoever complains the most. And whoever's job is most important, they generally move those people there. So like, unless you're there every single day and you have to tell them like, gotta finish, gotta finish, gotta finish, gotta stay on track, it's just gonna drag on. So now step number 11, assuming all the renovations are done, now you get to rent out the property. And this should also be the fun part of finishing up this whole process. Now, the number one thing you need to do when renting out a property is take really good pictures. So many landlords, like I mentioned earlier, don't do this. They sit around with their iPhone and they just take like really pictures of like the bathroom that are all like blurry and on it. Like, no wonder they can't get top dollar for the place. I highly recommend you pay for professional pictures that are gonna make your property look amazing. I don't care if you're renting it out for like 600 bucks a month or 10 grand a month. Get really good pictures. Also, make sure that if anyone contacts you to show it, that you respond back to them immediately, because usually when these renters are looking, they're in the moment, they wanna see it right then and there, and they're all excited about it. If it ends up taking you a few days to get back to these people, usually they would have just found something else. You don't wanna miss out on this, and especially if you're trying to rent it out for top dollar, it's so easy. Just pick up your phone and get back to people and be able to show it as soon as they want to see it. Now, as far as advertising it online, I personally like to use Craigslist, Apartments.com, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, and then I list it myself as an agent on the MLS, so it syndicates to everything else. I put it on as many websites as possible because you really have no idea where someone's going to be looking, and you don't want to just isolate all the other websites because you like just using Craigslist, for instance. So use them all.